Kuzangpo, and you're watching Bhutan This Week with me, Pemal Hadan. Our top stories for the week: the central monastic body arrives in the summer residence in the capital. A book launched to commemorate 87th birth anniversary of Her Majesty, the Royal Grandmother, and Bhutan's vision to go 100% organic by 2020 unrealistic. Thousands of devotees received blessings along the way as His Holiness the Jekempo and monks of the central monastic body travelled from Punakha to their summer residence in Thimphu on Friday. At Menchina, His Holiness also consecrated a Guru Tsenge Thonde. The entourage halted a night at Sempkhazong before moving to Tashichazong. In commemoration of Her Majesty the Royal Grandmother Aji Kezang Chodin Wangchuk's 87th birth anniversary, a book titled The Heart of Sacred Kingdom, Her Majesty the Royal Grandmother Aji Kezang Chodin Wangchuk, A Lifetime of Service to the People and the Kingdom of Bhutan, was launched Sunday last week. Her Majesty was born on 21st May 1930. Her Majesty the Gelsin, Her Majesty the Royal Grandmother, Their Majesties the Queen Mothers, and Their Royal Highnesses the Princess and Princesses graced the occasion. Prime Minister, the Lebes of the Shung, Dratang, and senior government officials were also present during the launch. Copies of the book, which will be available in bookstores in Thimphu and Paro, have been donated to school libraries across the country. As reflected in the Anti-Corruption Commission's annual report 2016, members of the National Assembly also supported the establishment of Ombudsman Office for the Commission. To this effect, the ACC, along with the Good Governance Committee of the National Assembly, will carry out feasibility studies.
As per the Anti-Corruption Commission's annual report 2016, close to 48% of the complaints received during the reporting period were referred to the agencies. However, the Good Governance Committee reported that despite some forms of action being taken, there is a conflict of interest because the complaints are referred back to the very agencies from which redressing is sought. The committee justified, since an ombudsman's office will deal with lighter complaints, it will leave the commission with more time for complicated and entrenched corruption issues.
다네 버들로 디기 펠랍디 친니 숨집에도 오세슈니라 다네 버들로 띠로 또 디다 시자딜로 디 잡주유 데 속중다 델렌 디기나 예레강담기 코나 뚠디기 톨로 나 되셔 퓨 임메 다 임달루 데 아니기 nga치라 다 슝기 카톨레 델레더로 코나기 도로 십슬 데다 유법 가데비비나 다치 데 바튀미기 주도 숨베라 데 피게 합나 가데비비나 ngaceregi ge khamnalu deta ne tangde sosoyi da ane badol pemba gadebe thoga neba gadebe bin ani shibsul beshina be de dani behollo namsemi matu mendo ose shunila
ngaceregi de tap madio bom matheolera lede lezin beru ikchana beru midena beru tap madio de le lasha yi de le pha jobe ikchana lab masu tele gati nyezu gati jobe ngaje shusipini na disu be machu beoda digi nami some pentoni mela di hamara chi jobe pha shu bewa chin digi pen lob di nami some bom du se shuni
ombudsman gi dai ani isang di social chi gobe ga mengobe ga sadalu ta ngachirgi satim chimugi gondindi leshimbe jegob 좀치 주 shunila ta ngachirgi satim chimugi gondinda tipdalu inidi imbe da timgi katole 때 작중기 팀십 속되다 견둠기 때와 순이기 고깝디나 사진 주목이 날로 퀴샤누 때 인드레 베디베루 다 다토기 년레기 라기 태칼로 년레기 선욕이 태카입들로 다 아니즘 익성 소소 에디기 배 치워진 때 년레 가둠로 계획이 gen티 다 디타 튕가 미튕가 익성 소소 질 숙디기 배 배우들로 다 아니디 노섬 대 bombe라
The Good Governance Committee, after reviewing the ACC's annual report, also presented 8 other recommendations to improve coordination among the Commission and other relevant stakeholders. The National Assembly, however, dropped the recommendation of the Finance and Economic Affairs Ministries having to present their findings and views on the proposals for improvement in trade licensing and customs and tax administration. A follow-up report on the resolutions will be tabled in the next session of the Parliament. With additional report from Kinle Dam, this is Changadoji for BBS News.
Kenyers or caretakers of Dilhakang registered with the central monastic body will now get salary beginning the next financial year. The government is recognizing the important role played by them in looking after Dilhakang besides performing rituals in the community. It was discussed while deliberating on the review report of the Finance Committee on the annual budget in the National Assembly.
The government is giving about 300 million Newton in the financial year 2017 to 2018 for the caretaker's salary. It is expected to contribute towards promotion of spiritual well-being and social harmony in the rural areas. But Kharyurung MP Zangle Dukpa sought clarification on why salary for caretakers is not reflected in the Third Pay Commission's report.
Didi ngachigi na di chugub mindu kajumso wachin da pechi shuda ujiba wachin dato ngachiragi shiul hensuki katule de khwanagi de ngachigi shiub disu padasu nesurbe saabsu bede di ngifu disu de ngachina tunimi se shunila. Dele ngachiragi da bebe wachin deyob ngachigi lungkotami duse pche gom shujo di na jibedalu temni sum chutam de jitsu dibediberu na tunimi disu gara de lamlu ngimali yuble tindigibe na tub ime se shunila.
톱탕디 가데베 모서달로 슈 트라상기 올로 유미기 토키 베디 유미기 때 트라사 괜히도 술로 참치 마토 신로 미세 니포기 테코 heb다 주옵다 때 트라살 hen쪽에 파나 니포기 테코디 에워라 소소 임발레텐디기베 때 주옵다 지가 지디 담범디 콘 주옵기 트라스 마츠발레텐디 니포기 톱타라 때 소소 요발레텐디기베 디 나나 마츠 임베세슈니라.
There are about 2,000 caretakers in the country as per the Finance Minister. This is Basa for BBS News.
With various modern techniques of construction available, traditional Bhutanese architecture has been evolving over the time, especially in urban areas. This, the National Council feels, could cost the country its age-old architecture. Taking this as something to be concerned about, the Social and Cultural Affairs Committee of the House presented various recommendations for preservation of such architecture.
As per the committee's findings, most people are not aware of Bhutanese architecture guidelines, which is the only guideline supporting the preservation and promotion of architectural design. National Council members cited examples where government institutes and infrastructure have been built based on modern architecture. In Thimphu alone, some 400 to 500 buildings are constructed annually based on modern architectural design.
Dinalote Deobigi Kopen, the Chebishudo Jubachin, Dinalote Zori Gopen, Dele Nachilagi, Lamsa Gopen, Siljin Gopen, Dele Didachikalu, the Deobigi, Siljin Hekungi, Chalanamigi, Gopen Lalugi, Dinalote Nachilagi, Duk. Zokegi lamtin nalu kachira yobina digi kolle hinsan sambe makembe se shunila
daam chilo sakto bini ki lamlu dinara nasil henka khatule namasen thi bombera shosu shunila mindi lamsul ki gopen sebe kanle te pha rangi shemi de phabe jada dimi yiwachi tyencho sho chi gobe se shunila dis labachi dicho shobe lapsel labachi lapcho shobe tebda dattu zonga khechi nalaba yubegi lamsul gopen disu tengaragi chodu chirtang garalo minuse shumen Yumida mimic agaralasso cosicati duze junilla. Zonka kitchen alpha chiki debit tabet watching Zonka Lelun alpha minularo. Lelun Zonka Lelun alpha that Roma that Yigo Kelden bimi minimum disugive that pa Lamsel Gopingi Mosape duze junilla.
The research also found that compared to urban construction, those in rural have managed to maintain traditional architectural design intact and effectively utilized local materials.
Kabana Lenshinabe, the Kogi Betum Be Shunila. The Dige Mado, Majipat, Chumigi, Zurik Pekanalu, the Patashina Juigi Namdilu, the Najigi Hemama, Taxit Met, Punzilingi, Zuriki, the Torimlo Branale, Conte, the Desenchi, Palu, tashil na onus junila te kongi khaldule bedi kira biro te ngachare ki drubi sokeda disulu namismi iche ngerange shinabe ngachi lobtro al disulu ya te dawni ni sumsum gi dinlu na te chumegi soribe khana onchinabe te yendin jani ki gogapchi thobachin sewi khona ki samchar disu shepimbe te ngachi lu ta de beta summes junila
lemi di sansam ge di baomi gi lemi su be gobe dele digi nalu ngachare shingi zogi rikpa di khonlu mebole tendige be pem chutselo bo ngangba laso bachu gara chisagi zoni gi rikpa khonglo du te ngachare gi shingda dewi gi rikchel pe machu sen mirapchi gi shulen te chisagi khatule zoni jane so khonle habgo ni gi nyengkha bomdu debole tendigi ngachi gi na dendeb gi nalu te hema jungi khatule mazeb men jungi khatule lenthe ni de chara seda bewi gi te di sarsho na lethen te chabda bi.
The Social and Cultural Affairs Committee also presented various recommendations on preservation of performing arts, language and social etiquette. The House will continue deliberations on the committee's report on cultural heritage tomorrow. With additional reporting from Chengadoji, Pupgame for BBS News.
The G2C e-payment is now available for 4 main online services towards improving public service delivery and ensuring end-to-end e-services. Prime Minister Dr. Sring Topke launched the system on Monday.
With the e-payment system, people can now make online payments for various passport services rendered by the Foreign Ministry. The other services with e-payment facility includes the Economic Affairs Ministry's business services, education services of the Bhutan Council for school examination and assessment, and services provided by the Road Safety and Transport Authority.
It's very straightforward, it's very simple, and it's very effective. It's immediate. And this is why I say that today's ceremony is actually quite simple. It's significant also because most of us haven't used e-payment, and most of us certainly haven't used it in Bhutan. And this is why it is significant. It is a big stepping stone in our development journey.
As part of the launch, the system was also officially handed over to the respective agencies. The Government to Citizen Office has been providing over 100 services online since 2014. However, till now, such services could not be delivered with online payment components due to lack of e-payment facility. For now, the e-payment for G2C services is available with Bank of Bhutan, Bhutan National Bank and Ruk Punjab National Bank. With additional information from Kiledem, Pasang Doji for BBS News.
Bhutan's long-awaited second population and housing census is just a few days away. From May 30th to June 1st, citizens are expected to stay home so that census officials can collect important data. Our reporter Sonam Punso sat down with Census Commissioner Chimisring and asked him why the census is so important at this time.
The main purpose of the population and housing census is to understand the size, distribution, and the characteristics of the population living in the country. And these informations are essential for the evidence-based decision-making at all levels. Also, these informations are very important for the formulation of national policies and plans. And also, these informations could be used as baseline for the evaluation and monitoring of the programs, national programs. And also these informations are useful for the implementation and the monitoring of the UN Sustainable Development Goals.
And also there are general questions specifically from the members of the public on if it's okay to have the household represented by one of the members, or is it necessary to have the entire family present during the population housing census?
Frequently asked questions. For the population and housing census, we expect all the family members to be at their homes during the census. This is because we have questions for the head of the households as well as questions for the individual family members. So therefore, our request to the general public is during the census, we would like to request them to remain at their residences so that the population and housing census of 2017 would be a success.
Bhutan's vision to go 100% organic by 2020 is not looking very realistic. It turns out there is still a long way to go to reach this goal set by the Ministry of Agriculture and Forest. Policymakers met in capital to plot a roadmap for the way ahead.
Does organic farming in Bhutan have a viable future? That's what a two-day workshop aimed to find out. As part of the Ministry of Agriculture and Forests, the National Organic Program held the event to discuss the state of organic farming in the country, its challenges and opportunities.
We have come a long way and many milestones were achieved with the limited resources. There were lots of speculations and exploration of possibilities. It is probably now the right time for us to stop and check where we are and maybe follow the course of the changes as it is happening now.
The minister called for achievable targets, adequate resources and effective monitoring in the National Organic Program. It was established in 2007, but in 10 years very little has happened on the ground, mostly because of money.
Mainly is the financial, because we feel if there is financial resources allotted, many things can happen. And basically, although we have the mandate, it has been due to limited resources that even when we have put in our plan to do things, we haven't been able to perform because the budget was really limited or sometimes not available. So even our plans could not be carried out.
Kezang said raising awareness among farmers about the benefits of going organic is important. But there's a problem. To ensure food sufficiency, the ministry is still supplying farmers with chemical fertilizers and pesticides throughout the country. Developing organic alternatives in Bhutan will be a long process. With additional information from Kilidem, this is Pasang Doji for BBS News.
Golden langur has become a nuisance to farmers of Langtel Geok in Trongsa in recent years. The langur started encroaching into human settlements, causing damages to everything farmers cultivate.
Usually considered as shy animal, golden langur in the recent days has become more aggressive towards human. In the past, the langurs which are found along the Mangdechu basin never used to invade crops and vegetables. Some elderly farmers said they have never seen langurs on the ground when they were kids, but now the same animal has become more destructive in the locality. Although no one knows why the langurs changed their behaviors, farmers fear that they might become an uncontrollable pest in the future.
In the past, they used to be around but never came near the human settlement. I never saw langurs eating chilies in the past, but it has been about 5 years now since they started eating chili also.
Previously, they never used to cause damages, but now they eat our oranges. It has been about 3 to 4 years since they started causing problem to us.
When we try to chase the langurs, the only one which gets hit runs away, but the rest continue to stay. Other common monkeys run away when we chase them, so it is difficult to chase away the langurs.
Farmers said langurs destroy fruits and vegetables before it ripens. Farmers added that it is difficult to handle the langurs as electric fencing has proved ineffective. Surjaman Thapa, PBS News.
Traffic police started monitoring roads within the core town area in Thimphu to prohibit residents from parking cars by the roadside. This was decided accordingly with the traffic police manpower and to give time for the people to construct their own residential parking. Thimphu Tromde initially decided to prohibit roadside parking within the entire Tromde area starting this month.
Earlier, Thombe said residential parking along the roadsides which fall under the Thomde will not be allowed. However, as of now, the Thomde could implement the rule only along the Northern Lam, Changlam, Gongdim Lam and Pendalam.
Once they complete enforcement within the core area, then they will go for other locations, maybe Olakha or even the ring road in Chasamto, where people are just parking left and right without being civic, without respecting others' rights and others to pass by freely without having to stuck up in traffic jams.
He said it is high time for the house owners to come up with the residential parking. Thompe added that it is not a serious issue with the old houses as they are mostly located along the feeder roads and has less people living in it.
The laluchiru chim hemale chapsaso me ta nalu parking space and mindubola. So ansu di ta thapra mindu te chigagi ta to khoragi thapda ne kapgi tholebe gari jasagi sagodi matin senga chigi te ta to chigagi di namsame lalen mathapse shunil.
He said if house owners do not construct parking when given time, they will start taking actions. He added that currently they are creating awareness while monitoring and no one has been penalized so far. Thomde started imposing the rule after some house owners failed to keep residential parking space for their tenants as mandated. Kiledem for BBS News.
Poor condition of public toilet in the country has been a topic for discourse among people, most often informally. But in capital, such a scenario is changing for better. A private service company has taken over the charge of running public toilets in the town.
Dr. Toilet started with public toilet at the Clock Tower Square in August last year. It took them 3 days to clean the toilet and restore its services. The facility had been lacking proper upkeep.
What we do is like we clean toilet, and moreover we maintain a toilet, a public toilet, where we give a life of the toilet which is already dead. I mean the toilet is there, but it's not that clean. So we clean it, we give them a life.
Likewise, in the last 9 months, the company took over the management of 3 more public toilets in the capital city.
If I take about the percentage, like 80 to 90% they are happy with our services, and moreover the cleanliness of the toilet. But yeah, some they always complain in terms of like Ngiltram 5. But like what we do with our collection of that money from public toilet, we collect Ngiltram 5 and we put it back into the toilet itself only. Because like we to maintain a toilet very professionally.
As a company founded to provide a safe, hygienic and accessible network of public toilets, Dr. Toilet will stretch its services to Phuntsholing from next month. With 5 members, they also render additional services such as plumbing and installation of toilet equipment. This is Pima Saldan for BBS News.
Well, that is the end of Bhutan This Week. Do join us next time with another edition of Bhutan This Week. For now, it is goodbye.